Welcome to online classes BEO Nalgonda. Good morning to children. Today for 10th class students, 10th class biology, the topic is nutrition in human being. In the case of human being, there is a well developed system is present, that is a digestive system. Human body made up of with trillions of cells. That's why here tissues, organs, organ systems, everything can be developed very well. In the last class we seen amoeba and paramecium. They are unicellular organisms. That's why there is no peculiar system. But whereas in the case of human beings, for nutrition purpose, there is a system is developed that is called digestive system. It is very complicated. It consists of different parts. That different parts can be do different types of functions. And also associated with that digestive system, some digestive glands are present. That glands secretes the digestive juices. That digestive juices consists of digestive enzymes. They all helpful for digestion of the food. Okay. Particularly in the case of digestive system of human being, there is a alimentary canal is present. Alimentary canal. This alimentary canal is very long tube. It is starts with the mouth and with the anus. So there is a alimentary canal is present, a long tube. It is starts with the mouth and with the anus. And also it is associated with digestive glands. Okay, so alimentary canal starts with mouth and with anus. Between the mouth and anus, there are several parts are present. Like mouth opens into a widened buccal cavity. Buccal cavity opens into pharynx. Next, esophagus, stomach, small intestine, large intestine, and anus. Like that, various parts are present in the case of alimentary canal. So like that, in the case of alimentary canal, mainly 8 parts are present. One is mouth, second buccal cavity, next pharynx, esophagus, stomach, small intestine, large intestine. Again, if you goes to small intestine, mainly two parts are present, duodenum, ileum, but actually third part, jejunum also present. It is not given in our textbook. Main parts are only two. One is duodenum, next one is ileum. These are the two parts present mainly in the small intestine. Just like in the large intestine also, there are three parts are present, cecum, colon, rectum. But whereas in our textbook he given only two parts, that is colon and another one is rectum. Okay, like that. In the small intestine, mainly two parts, duodenum and ileum is present. In the case of large intestine also, there are two parts are present. One is colon and another one is rectum. And lastly, it is end with the anus. Like that, various parts are present in the case of human digestive system. We can see these all parts with the help of a diagram. So like that, it is starts with the mouth and with the anus. Between the mouth and anus, there is a buccal cavity, esophagus, stomach, small intestine, large intestine. In the small intestine, mainly two parts are present. One is called duodenum and another one is called ileum. In the case of a large intestine also, there are mainly two parts are present. One is called colon and another one is a rectum. Between the small intestine and the large intestine, there is a, that is 13 centimeters that is long, a structure is present. This is called the appendix. Appendix. Okay, like that, our digestive system is present. Among them, the first part is mouth. Okay, then what is the mouth? It is a gap between the two lips, upper lip and lower lip. Okay? The mouth is nothing but a gap between the upper and the lower lips. So what is the use of mouth? It is useful for intake of various kinds of food materials. The intake of that various food materials into our mouth is known as, the process is called ingestion of food. What is that called? Ingestion of the food. This is the first process occur in our digestive system. So what is the mouth? The mouth is nothing but a gap between the upper and lower lips. It is useful for taking of various food materials into our alimentary canal. So that process is known as, intake of food materials is known as ingestion of food. Okay? For that purpose, mouth is useful. Then next, the mouth is open into a wide cavity. That wide cavity is known as buccal cavity. This is present between the upper jaw and lower jaw. Between two lips is mouth. Between jaws is buccal cavity. Between upper jaw and lower jaw, a wide cavity is present. That wide cavity is known as buccal cavity. In this buccal cavity, there are 32 teeth are present. Upper jaw consists of 16 teeth, lower jaw consists of 16 teeth. With the help of these teeth, we can masticate our food materials. And also in the buccal cavity, salivary glands are present. They secrete the saliva. So whenever we are masticating, chewing our food in our buccal cavity, it can be mixed up with the saliva. Due to that, a wet lump is formed. A wet conditioned lump is formed, is known as food bolus. What is formed? Food bolus is formed in the buccal cavity. Okay, what happened? Once again, in the case of wide buccal cavity, there is a 16 teeth on upper jaw, 16 teeth in lower jaw. With the help of the 32 teeth, we can masticate our food, we can chew our food. By that what happened? It converted into small particles. That small particles can be mixed up with the, again in the case of buccal cavity, salivary glands are present. They secrete the saliva and mix up with that saliva. Due to that, a wet conditioned lump is formed. That wet conditioned lump is known as the food bolus. Like that, food bolus is formed. So for that forming of food bolus, teeth are useful and as well as salivary glands are useful. We can see salivary glands. Into our buccal cavity, there are three kinds of salivary glands are open. A pair of parotid glands, a pair of submaxillary glands, a pair of sublingual glands. Okay, into our mouth, There are three pairs of salivary glands are opening. A pair of submaxillary glands. They present either side of the upper jaw. So jaw, upper jaw, sides of upper jaw, these submaxillary glands are located. Then a pair of sublingual gland. Lingua means tongue. They present below the tongue. Then a pair of parotid glands are present. They located below the either side of ears. Like that, three pairs of salivary glands are open into our buccal cavity. Submaxillary present on either side of the jaws, upper jaws, and opens into buccal cavity. Sublingual glands located below the tongue and secretes the saliva into our buccal cavity. A pair of parotid glands located below the either side of ears also secretes the saliva into our buccal cavity. Like that, daily these three pairs of salivary glands approximately secretes the 1 liter of saliva. That saliva is basically alkaline in structure, alkaline in nature. Okay, alkaline in nature. With the help of that saliva, what happen? Our food can be mixed up and forms a wet lump like structure that is called the food bolus. Then is another structure also present in the case of a buccal cavity, that is called a tongue. It is a muscular part. Its anterior end is free. Posterior end is attached to our lower part of buccal cavity. What is the use of this tongue? This tongue useful for the acts like a oar and useful for mixing of food. Not only that one. What is the food bolus is formed in the buccal cavity to thrown into, that is the next part of alimentary canal. This tongue is useful. So tongue is a muscular part. Its anterior end is free. Posterior end is attached to the lower part of buccal cavity. Okay, that tongue is useful for the mixing of food materials with the saliva, and also this tongue is useful for the thrown of food materials into next part of alimentary canal. Then saliva. What is the food bolus is there? On the food bolus, the saliva is acting. That saliva consists of one enzyme. That enzyme is called the ptyalin or salivary amylase. So the saliva consists of enzyme. That enzyme is called the ptyalin or salivary amylase, which acts on, that is food materials carbohydrates. Due to that, the complex carbohydrates are converted into simple carbohydrates. That means for the somewhat digestion it is useful. If you goes to detail, that saliva consists of this ptyalin or amylase, which acts on carbohydrates and converted into maltose and dextrose sugars. That means the complex carbohydrates are converted into somewhat simple forms. For that purpose, this saliva containing the ptyalin or salivary amylase is useful. Okay, with the help of saliva, that bolus is formed. That bolus we can undergo to deglutition. Deglutition means swallowing. We can undergo deglutition process, that is called the swallowing. Due to that swallowing, the food bolus enter into the next part. What is the next part? Pharynx. It is a small muzzle-like structure. The pharynx is a small muzzle-like structure which present behind the buccal cavity, which is useful for the throwing of food materials into esophagus. It is useful for entry of food materials into esophagus. So you have to remember about pharynx only one point, that is, it is a small muscular structure which is helpful for the entry of food materials into next part of alimentary canal. That part is known as esophagus. This esophagus is a very long tube present along the total length of neck, and also it is enter into the chest cavity, and at last it is opens into a wide bag like or sac like structure, stomach. Okay, then this esophagus is a very narrow long tube made up of with muscles. That muscles can be undergo contraction and expansions is known as the peristaltic movements. So in the esophagus, when the bolus is enter, that is actually a narrow tube. Why? Because above that one buccal cavity is wide, below that stomach also wide. But this esophagus is a narrow part. It consists of very thin muscles, involuntary muscles. That muscles can be undergo contractions and expansions. Such kind of nature is known as the peristaltic movements. By that peristaltic movements of esophagus, the bolus is very strongly thrown into stomach. The food bolus is strongly thrown into stomach. Then what is the stomach? What is the stomach? The stomach is a, already I know, you know, it is a very wide cavity or a bag like structure, a sac like structure present in our abdominal cavity towards the left side. Actually, between the chest cavity and abdominal cavity, there is a diaphragm is present. Beneath that diaphragm, in the abdominal cavity, towards the left side, this sac or bag like structure is present, that is called the stomach. Like that, what we are eating the food materials, that total food can be entered into our stomach. So, in the stomach what happen? The entered food can be stored 3 to 4 hours. That is called the storage of food, 3 to 4 hours. Like that, the food can be stored in the stomach. Whenever it is stored, what happen? The wall of stomach consists of many glands. They are called the gastric glands. Like many glands are present, that glands are called the gastric glands. These glands can be secrete a juice, that juice is called the gastric juice. Gastric juice. Okay? The wall of stomach consists of gastric glands. That gastric gland can be secretes the gastric juice. This juice, this gastric juice consists of mainly HCl, hydrochloric acid, and pepsin like enzymes. Okay? The gastric juice, some stomach secretes gastric juice. That gastric juice consists of hydrochloric acid, HCl, and pepsin. What is the use of this HCl? This HCl is useful for mainly two purposes. HCl is basically a acid. That's why it is useful for the conversion of the total food into acidic media. So the food converted into acidic media, it is useful. Due to the saliva, it is converted into alkaline media, but whereas here it is converted into acidic medium. Then next, what is the use of HCl? This HCl is useful for particularly to kill the bacteria in the food. It is useful. So when we eating the food materials, particularly stale like food materials, what happen? It is mixed up with some microorganisms like bacteria. That bacteria can be killed by HCl. So for the killing of microorganisms, bacteria, HCl is useful, and also conversion of total food into acidic media also this HCl is useful. That is the use of HCl. Then what is the pepsin? It is the enzyme present in the case of that is a gastric juice. So this enzyme acts on that is protein food materials and converted into peptones. So like that, in the case of this stomach, with the help of this pepsin enzyme, what proteins are digested. Okay, that is the main important use. Children, here you have to remember one point, particularly small children drink milk. To act on milk, here also secretes the another enzyme that is called renin. So gastric juice consists of mainly hydrochloric acid and pepsin enzyme. Not only pepsin, in the early stage up to 5 years of age, there is another enzyme is present that is called renin, that is useful for the digestion of milk into curd, converted into milk into curd, that is useful. Okay, so that is about the main important use of this that is the enzyme pepsin. So the pepsin is the enzyme useful for the conversion of eating proteins converted into peptones. Like that, in the case of stomach, little amount of proteins are digested, and already in the buccal cavity with the help of saliva, the carbohydrates are little amount digested. So at last what happen? A semi-solid like of a food material is formed in the case of stomach. That food is known as the chyme. What it is called? Chyme. Okay. So what happen in the stomach? In the stomach some proteins are digested, and what are the large food particles are present and converted into small molecules and form a that is a semi-solid food is formed, that is called the chyme. This chyme is due to the presence of HCl, it is acidic in nature. At the end of this stomach there is a muscular part is present. This muscular part is known as pyloric sphincter. So at the end of a stomach there is a muscular part is present which is called pyloric sphincter. Okay, whenever this acidic chyme come and touch this pyloric sphincter, it can be open. By that, little amount of food is enter into the next part that is called small intestine. The next part is called small intestine. Okay, whenever that acidic chyme come and attach this pyloric sphincter, the sphincter can be dilated. By that, some amount of food. What is that nature of food is called chyme. is enter into the next part, that is called the small intestine. Okay, like that, simply through pyloric sphincter, the acidic chyme can be enter into the next part of alimentary canal. That next part of alimentary canal is called that is small intestine. Small intestine. What is the speciality of small intestine? It is the longest part of alimentary canal. It is a very longest part. It is approximately 6 to 7 meters long. So that is the speciality of small intestine. Already you know this small intestine consists of two parts. The anterior part is called duodenum and posterior part is called the ileum. So duodenum, it is the anterior part of small intestine. It is somewhat U-shaped structure. Okay. Then when the chyme is enter into the duodenum, at the loop of this duodenum, there are mainly two important glands are located. One side is liver and another side is pancreas. So the liver secreting bile juice and pancreas secrete pancreatic juice. So when the chyme is enter into the duodenum, it is mixed up with these two juices. Liver secreted bile juice and pancreas secreted pancreatic juice. Okay. Then here you go to liver. So what is the speciality of liver? It is located same in the abdominal cavity towards the right side, opposite to stomach. So stomach is located in the abdominal cavity left side, right side is liver. So what is the speciality of liver? It is the largest digestive gland present in our body, largest gland. Largest gland or largest digestive gland. This largest digestive gland, liver, secretes the bile juice. With the help of several small bile ducts, the juice can be enter into a bladder-like structure, a bulb-like structure called gallbladder. This is called gallbladder. So the liver secretes the bile juice. The bile juice can be enter into the gallbladder through small bile ducts. After storage by big bile duct, it is enter into the duodenum and acts on chyme. What is the speciality of this bile juice? The bile juice is the main important point you have to remember in this one. No enzymes at all, no digestive enzymes. Or enzymes are absent. If the enzymes are absent, what are there in the case of bile juice? There are bile salts and bile pigments are present. So in the case of actually liver is the largest digestive gland secreting bile juice. That bile juice is stored in the gallbladder, later through big bile duct it is enter into the duodenum and acts on chyme. But what is the speciality of bile juice? It is the only digestive juice without enzymes, no enzymes at all. But it consists of bile salts and bile pigments. What is the use of these bile salts? That is the main use of bile juice. They are useful for the emulsification of fats. Emulsification of fats. So in the chyme, what are the fats are present? They are very big globules. By the action of this bile juice, mainly bile salts, that big globules of fats are converted into small globules. That total process is known as emulsification. So the bile juice is mainly useful for the emulsification of fats. That is the very important point you have to remember. What is emulsification of fats? In the case of duodenum, the chyme can be mixed up with the bile juice. With the help of bile juice, the large globules of fats converted into small globules is called the emulsification of fats. Okay? So this is about the liver. The chyme also mix up with the pancreatic juice. Pancreas. Same at the duodenal loop towards the left side below the stomach. There is a leaf-like gland is present. That leaf-like gland is called the pancreas. It is the second largest digestive gland after liver. This pancreas secretes the pancreatic juice. This pancreatic juice consists of trypsin, amylase, lipase-like enzymes. So there are three enzymes are present in the case of pancreatic juice. Trypsin. It is acts on proteins. Already you know, in the case of stomach, with the help of pepsin, they converted into peptones. On the peptones, this trypsin is acted. By that, somewhat they converted into amino acids. So that means trypsin is helpful for the digestion of proteins. Then second one is amylase or amylopsin. This is useful for the somewhat digestion of carbohydrates. Then lipase, this is acts on fats and converted into fatty acids and glycerol. Like that, the pancreas is the second largest digestive gland. It is located at the duodenal loop beneath the stomach. It secretes the pancreatic juice. That pancreatic juice acts on chyme and useful for the proteins digestion, carbohydrate digestion, fats digestion. Because trypsin is the enzyme useful for protein digestion, amylase is useful for digestion of carbohydrates, lipase is useful for the digestion of fats. Okay, then another point also you have to remember, children. What is that another point means? The pancreas is not only useful for digestion of food. The pancreas also, very little part consists of isolates of Langerhans. They secretes the two kinds of hormones, glucagon and insulin. Today you know very well, most of the people are suffering with the deficiency of insulin. By that they are getting the diabetes. Okay. Welcome to online classes DEO Nalgonda. Good morning to children. For 10th class biology, in the case of digestive system, the next topic we can going to take ileum. It is the second part of small intestine. It is very long and it is a much coiled like structure. So it is very long structure and coiled structure, that is the ileum. Then you comes to inside the wall of ileum consists of some glands. They are called the intestinal glands are present. So inside the ileum or the walls of ileum consists of intestinal glands. These intestinal glands secretes the juice. The juice is called the intestinal juice or succus entericus. Okay. So the inner walls of ileum consists of glands called the intestinal glands. These intestinal glands secretes the juice called the intestinal juice or succus entericus. When the food materials mix up with this intestinal juice or succus entericus, the complete digestion is takes place or digestion is completed. So carbohydrates can be completely digested because the succus entericus consists of fructase, maltase, galactase, sucrase like enzymes. In our textbook he given only sucrase. So sucrase is nothing but enzyme acts on our daily eating sugar sucrose. The daily eating sugar is known as sucrose. On the sucrose, this sucrase enzyme is acts. By that it is converted into that is glucose and fructose units. Okay. So like that sucrase, maltase, lactase like various kinds of enzymes are present. They act on carbohydrates. By that they converted into simple glucose sugar. Then on proteins, different peptidases enzymes are present. Tripeptidases, dipeptidases like peptidases enzymes are present. Due to this peptidases enzymes, the proteins are finally converted into amino acids. Amino acids. Then once again in the succus entericus, lipase is present. This lipase acts on remaining fats and converted into fatty acids and glycerol. Okay, so like that when the food is mixed up with the intestinal juice or succus entericus, it is again somewhat converted into alkaline nature or alkaline medium, and by that carbohydrates are digested, proteins are digested, fats are digested. Carbohydrates digested by sucrase, maltase, lactase like enzymes and finally forms the glucose. Okay, on the proteins, peptidases are acting and converted into amino acids. On fats, lipase is acting and converted into fatty acids and glycerol. Like that, when the food is mixed up with this intestinal juice or succus entericus, the complete digestion is takes place. So from buccal cavity with the help of saliva ptyalin to this intestinal juice digestion, the total process is called the digestion of food materials. So the digestion of food materials is nothing but eaten complex food materials are converted into simple food materials and useful for the absorption is known as the total process of digestion. So what we discussed up to this that is ileum, that total process is known as digestion. So the first process is called the taking of food into mouth is known as ingestion of food. From buccal cavity to up to this ileum, what are the different processes are takes place, that total processes are known as the digestion. The next one, the third part that is called the absorption. So absorption. Whenever that complex food materials are converted into simple food materials, they enter into our blood. The entry of that simple food materials into our blood is known as absorption. How this absorption is takes place, where this absorption is takes place. Same in the inner walls of ileum consists of many finger-like projections are present. That finger-like projections are called microvilli. So villus is a singular, villi is plural. Okay, once again, the inner wall of ileum consists of many finger-like projections. These finger-like projections are called the microvilli. Okay, these are the finger-like projections, singularly known as villus. Many are known as villi. Like that, so many microvilli are present. If you observe inside the microvilli, what are present? Lymphatic vessels are present. So many blood vessels are present. Mainly these blood vessels can be useful for the absorption of carbohydrates, that means glucose, sugar, and proteins, amino acids. But fats products, fatty acids and glycerol is not absorbed by these blood vessels of villi. Then how they can be absorbed? They can be absorbed by the lymphatic vessels. That lymphatic vessels are known as lacteales. So inside the microvilli, some lymphatic vessels are present. That vessels are known as lacteales. These lacteales can be helpful for the absorption of fats, that is in the form of fatty acids and glycerol. Okay, like that. What is the special part of this ileum means? This ileum is useful for the complete digestion and also absorption of the food. It is useful. For the complete digestion, the succus entericus is useful. For the absorption, thousands of these microvilli are present. That microvilli consists of lymphatic vessels and blood vessels. That blood vessels can be absorbed for glucose and amino acids, and the lymphatic vessels, lacteals, are useful for the absorption of fatty acids and glycerol. By that, in the case of ileum, the complete digestion takes place and complete absorption also takes place. So that absorbed food enter into this microvilli to blood, blood to cells. In the cells they undergo, that is a respiration. By that we can get energy. Okay, that is the absorption of food materials. Sir. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for children for this listening of lesson. Welcome to online classes DEO Nalgonda. For 10th class students, biology topic, large intestine. For good morning to all children. In the last class, we seen this ileum topic. In the ileum, two processes are takes place. One is digestion and another one is absorption. So after the completion of digestion, what happens? Some of the food materials are not digested. by the action of digestive juices and digestive enzymes. Some of them are not digested. That undigested food materials, undigested. Such undigested food enter into the next part of our alimentary canal. That next part of alimentary canal is called the large intestine. So this large intestine is very widened comparing with the small intestine, but it is very short. It is about 1 to 1.5 meters long. The total small intestine is 6 to 7 meters long, but whereas it is just 1 to 1.5 meters of long. But if you goes to diameter, small intestine is very small, large intestine is somewhat widened than this small intestine. Okay. So such undigested food enter into this large intestine. In the large intestine, first they enter into the colon. In the colon, with the help of microorganisms, these undigested food is converted into feces or fecal matter. Okay, here the undigested food can be entered and converted into fecal matter with the help of some microorganisms. Okay, like that, colon is useful for the formation of fecal matter. The next part is the rectum. The rectum is useful for the storage of fecal matter. So the rectum can be useful whenever the fecal matter or feces is forming in the colon. It can be enter into the rectum. In the rectum, slowly it can be stored. Whenever this rectum is fill up with this fecal matter, then the anus can be open and it can be eliminated to outside. So the last part is known as anus. By the opening of this anus, what is the stored fecal matter is present in the rectum is thrown to outside. This total process is known as the defecation of food. So what is the process is called? Defecation. So in the case of large intestine, in the colon, the undigested food is converted into fecal matter and it can be stored in the rectum. Whenever this rectum is fulfilled with the fecal matter, then anus can be open and it can be eliminated to outside. This total process is known as defecation. Okay, don't say, most of the people can be think it is a excretion. The excretion is different from defecation. Defecation means undigested food in the large intestine converted into fecal matter and stored in the rectum. By the opening of anus, what is eliminated to outside, that is called a defecation process. But what is the excretion means? In our body, due to various metabolic activities, so many materials are formed like urine, like sweat. The elimination of that sweat and urine to outside is known as excretion. So children, you have to differentiate the excretion and defecation. Most of the people can be think it is excretion. So don't say it is excretion. It is a defecation. Like that, in our total digestive system, there are 4 processes are taking place. Number 1, taking of food is called ingestion of food. Then second one is called the total digestion of food by the action of various digestive juices, enzymes. And the third one is absorption of the food. That means the digested food enter into the blood is known as absorption. And fourth process, the undigested food enter into the large intestine and converted into fecal matter, stored in the rectum, and by opening of anus it can be eliminated to outside is known as defecation. So like that, ingestion, digestion, absorption and defecation is taking place. So this is about the total our digestive system. Thank you children by listening of this lesson by patiently. Okay.